All right, so I finished my graduated value scale and I tried my best to match the values of gray I saw from the top box to the bottom box. Again, it looks a little different on the computer screen versus in real life. And so hopefully you did that, tried to be nice and neat while I did it. And really, the way to make something lighter with this is just to let more of the whiteness of the paper shine through and to not so much put so much pressure on your pencil. So as I moved to the left, the more pressure I put on my pencil, and I also switched to my ebony pencil, which comes out more black than the regular HB pencil like that. Remember, this is the ebony, and that was the HB. Here, ebony. Oops. Okay. Something that you got to get used to, though. I don't know if you see any of these smudginess. It happened because as I was moving with my pencil along, this happened, and then it made as I moved, I sort of smudged the pencils on my paper. So that's not so much a good thing. So we have to learn how to control our pencils really well. Something that'll make things easier is just keeping an extra piece of scratch paper you're around. And another thing to do is to simply work from left to right, which we will do, well, especially if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, I guess you should work from right to left, but most people are right-handed. So I'm going to work from left to right, and that way I won't smudge as I'm going along. When I work from right to left, my hand kept smudging over everything. So I'm going to do the graduated value scale now. I'm going to do something. I'm going to put a pad of paper underneath because I'm working on a wooden desk. Okay, and what I want to do is, this top, the graduated scale was box. I had to go box by box, but this is a very, very smooth transition of going from all the way black to all these grays in between, lighter, 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 to all the way white. So a whole value scale has everything from black and a lot of grays in between, and then pure white as well. So I want to match that as well. I typically like working from darkest to lightest. I think it's easier to start with a really hard pressure and then lighten up as I go. You might like to work from light to dark, but particularly I like to work from dark to light. So I'm just going to start with more pressure on my pencil, and then as I move to the right, I'm going to ease up on that pressure. And remember, like, I kind of ease up on my pencil to the lighter pressure I need. You can do this whole thing with your ebony pencil. You can do half of it with the ebony and half of it with the HB, whatever you want. Just try to do this very, very neatly because we have to gain lots of control over our pencils and our pressure. So I'm just going to start. And the way that I like to think about this is if you've ever been in a car with somebody and they're really bad at pressing the brakes, they kind of start, stop, start, stop, and their pressure on their brakes starts and stops and starts and stops. Whereas somebody like who's really good at driving, when they get to a red light, they just ease down on the brake, and it's a very smooth transition from like fast to slow to stop. And so I like to think of that. Otherwise, we're going to have like very, very stripy shading. Okay, and finally it's going from black to more gray, so I'm trying to ease up on my pressure just a little bit. Okay, and if I need to go back and put more, I can always do that. And not gonna lie, sometimes as I'm doing this, actually my arm starts to get a little tired because I'm really holding on to a lot of pressure on the pencil for these darker shades. But as I'm moving here now, finally I feel like I can ease up on my pressure a little bit more because it's starting to become lighter grays. And I still have a far way to go with this. And I think now would be a good time for me to switch over to my HB pencil because it is a lighter gray. And just keep going and going and lightening up on your pressure. And it's